What's up, everybody out there? How you doing? Welcome back over here to Peppy's Point of View, and I'm your host, Peppy. And well, I got a little bit of entertainment news for you guys today, this evening. And as you know, my main focus is on covering music and particularly R&B divas. But every now and then, I will dish out the dirt on who dropped, kicked who in these entertainment streets, literally and figuratively speaking. I want to welcome you, new viewers, you returning viewers, and you subscribers. Thank you guys so much for hanging in there with me. And I know I've been away for about a month or so, but I've been working on some things behind the scenes. So I'm so glad that you guys are still sticking around with me. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much. Well, we have a little bit of Blueface in is it Christian rock in the news. Now, first of all, I have to say I do not really follow what I would call these new celebrities, these new singers and actors and actresses. I just don't. And I'm not saying anything bad about this new generation of entertainers. It's just that I don't follow them. Now I know about them with their names and in passing. I know some of the things that they have done a little bit, but not enough to follow anyone. But I do know this couple definitely has been in the news for the things they do collectively and individually. And it appears that both of them, and I was kind of shocked when I found out that both of them were actually, well, they are away. I'll put it that way. They are not, you know, able to roam around, if you will, run around, in these free streets. They're in a confined location. And of course, I'm being mindful of some of the terminology that I use simply because it's YouTube. So, I definitely do know the words, the word that I want to say. But it says here, Blueface is sentenced to 4 years, while Christian Rock faces up to 8 years. And looking at this just alone, the amount of years, and just that alone, it's kind of heartbreaking. I want to say personally, it says the couple is behind, you know, they're confined for DURG related charges. Now, I'm getting this news from BET, actually, BET websites, and it says Blueface was sentenced to 4 years uh, confinement, while his own, again and off again, girlfriend, Christian Rock, may face up to 8 years, and both of them on DURG charges. According to Fox 11 Los Angeles, the Tatiana Hitmaker violated his probation in connection with the 2021 assault of a security guard at a at the North Hollywood lounge. Interesting. TMZ reported that his manager, Whack 100, said that he was able to get his sentencing suspended for the past few years, but after he was caught with paraphernalia, a judge had to give him the maximum sentence. Whack also added uh, that he is confident that Blueface will be home in about 10 months. He already served 440 days. Christian, on the other hand, was transferred from a California confinement location last Wednesday to a facility in Oklahoma, so she could stand trial for her charges that could get her sentence up to the maximum of 8 years. Uh, wow. The Maryland rapper was previously charged with possession of, it said here, a controlled dangerous substance with the intent to distribute and failure to have a tax stamp affixed on the product. She knew of the warrant out of her uh, arrest for these charges since March of this year, but she did not want to turn herself in because she didn't know what may happen to her son, whom she shares with Blueface. And I think that's the part that was kind of heartbreaking to me. I just want to say, first of all, and for those of you who are out there who don't know, I am a counselor And when I look at these two, I look at two young individuals who would probably be what I would call, my students. I have to honestly say it this way. And we can say what we want to say about people who find themselves in a lot of trouble all the time. But I will have to honestly say that when it comes to, people who are, let's just say, have some rough edges. I'll put it that way. Young people who have some rough edges, you have to think about, of course, the home they were raised in, the community that they live in, all of the things that they have going on in their lives. You just can't look at them and all of a sudden, judge them. I mean, and that's any of them. Some of my most difficult um, students, well, I put it this way, the most difficult students, sometimes who have a horrible situation, that they're living with on a daily basis, actually are some of the ones that I actually like being around as far as, uh, talking to them, so on and so forth. And I'll tell you why. Is because that's the group, you know, that they are definitely genuine when they have a lot going on, and they're still respectful towards you, so on and so forth. But it breaks your heart because they can get involved in so much in their communities, and they can oftentimes fall short, of some things, and then you turn around and you look around and someone say, "Hey, did you hear about Johnny? This happened in the community, so on and so forth." And then if you're able to see them again and you ask them about it, and then they're talking to you about it, and sometimes the response is kind of like, "Hey, I mean, it just happened. It's just what it is. I just, you know, taking it one day at a time, or people just really don't understand, what I go through, all the things." So sometimes, people and the choices that they make in their lives is not always. Sometimes they are aware, but breaking that cycle is just so difficult sometimes. So, as far as when I look at these two, like I said, it's just heartbreaking because I think about, just children in general who, we have had the interactions with. And, when I look at Blueface and Chrisean, they have obviously have had some kind of educational background, right? They've been to someone's school, so on and so forth. And I can just only imagine, what their life was like when they were in school, and growing up, and so on and so forth. So anyway, and not only that, I have to say about our community, brown and black skin community, African American community. So many times we throw our people away. I think we are the only group that just throw our people away. And I think that we as a community can do more as far as embracing. Yes, you do the crime, serve the time, so on and so forth. But there are a lot of people out here who's getting that slap on the wrist, so on and so forth, regarding things in other communities, and that happens a lot. And so this is just bringing up to me a different take. I do a different take. I know some of you guys are probably doing a take where you're talking about their actual, timeline, if you will, of all of the things that they've ever done in the past. Oh, he was charged with this. Y'all remember he did this to this person. Y'all remember she did this, that, and the other. And I'm not necessarily wanting to go down that path as much as I want to just go down the path of, what I'm actually feeling and sensing right now. This is just where I'm coming from. I just try to be me and my authentic self. And, if I have a different angle to go with a particular storyline, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go down that road, and hopefully just give you guys something else to think about than just the regular, smuggler, situations that everybody else is reporting on. So for me, when I see these two, I see two young people, obviously who have found themselves in a situation where the average Joe will probably say, "Oh well, they're on television. Oh, they got a song out. Oh, they're living the life. Oh, they need to be." happy that they got a new lease on life, or this, that, and the other. But when I'm looking at this, I'm reading this article in WAC 100, who here it says is Blueface's manager. You know, I'm thinking about all the things that maybe WAC 100 as a manager probably tried to keep him out of. You know, some people, you know, are probably, you know, trying to do their best to say, hey, you know, let me fix this for you real quick. And maybe there are some people out there who, you know, are probably, you know, kind of cleaning up their messes. I'll just put it that way, cleaning up their messes. And, you know, sometimes, you know, it's kind of like a slap on the wrist, so on and so forth. And you would think that, you know, people would learn the first time, the second time, the third time, and they're still not getting it. And so I'm looking at that too as well. Like, how many opportunities, you know, have, you know, let's just say Blueface had to just say, okay, let me kind of get it right. You know, it breaks my heart to see another black male, you know, going down a route where they have to spend some time in confinement. And especially for something as simple as a drug charge. I mean, and he's obviously, I'm going to assume this is alleged on my part. I don't know that he's using, right? Because I don't think he's you know, he's actually selling it, right? So I'm just going to assume that he's using it, right? And then he gets in these uh, incidents, right, with people out in the community, so on and so forth. It's like I said, it's just heartbreaking to see. And again, you get the opportunities to get it right, and sometimes you just don't get it right. And then, you know, here we find ourselves in this particular situation, or they have found themselves in that particular situation. And as far as Chrisean is concerned, I think for me, it really broke my heart to hear her say, hey, you know, I knew about these charges, but I was just trying to, as she said here, you know, I didn't want to turn myself in because I didn't know what would happen to my son, you know, whom she shares with Blueface. And it's kind of like, oh, you know, and you're thinking about this. And I mean, that's realistic if you think about it. You know, a person like, hey, man, like, what's going to happen to my child? Like, you know, I know some things came up with the child in the past, but you just really can't tell, you know, a person, especially if you don't have any children, you know, about how they would feel about their child. Everything is about what? It's about upbringing. It's about things you've learned. It's about, you know, oh gosh, you know, just trying to change that mind frame. I just put it to you that way. So again, you know, it's heartbreaking to hear. It's heartbreaking to see. I definitely do pray for these two that they definitely get it together. Hopefully, they will individually and collectively, and it's definitely for the sake of the child. You know, and just come out, you know, better. But you know, there's also another side of this, and it's just the entertainment side of it that I definitely did not tackle in this commentary because, you know, the entertainment side of it is a whole nother monster. You know, I'm definitely well aware of that part as well. But, you know, it is what it is. So hopefully, you know, this time around they'll get it together. You know, who knows? You know, like I said, who are we to judge? Um, it is what it is. So, want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you made it this far in my commentary, I think it's definitely appropriate for me to ask you, hey, hang around, stick around with me by hitting that like button, that subscribe button, that comment button, leave a comment, all of that stuff that you guys normally do. I definitely appreciate it. And remember, my motto over here is simple: put your behind where your heart desires to be. And whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, she says, baby, remember, I love you, but God loves you best. I love you guys out there. Thank you guys so much for your support. I look forward to seeing you next video. And until then, you know what to do. That's right. Take care of yourselves.